I'm afraid I do not have a simple and straightforward answer to this question. I believe that to date most people accepted that we live in a multicultural society. Some people, of course, accepted this because they have a genuine belief in equality and mutual respect. Rules and legislations have helped to reduce bad things that can happen to an ethnic minority person, but scratching below the surface, discrimination and prejudice are very much alive.
I think there's, since all the stuff around Brexit and all that, I think there are more explicit racist attitudes coming out, or maybe we've all just become more aware of them. I just remember during the vote, I stayed up till Sunderland declared, and I was travelling somewhere the next day, and I was just really relieved I wasn't going to Sunderland, which is really daft, because, you know, but it was that kind of thing. And then it feels like people are just more comfortable being explicit about their xenophobia, I suppose, rather than just direct racism. I think growing up in the 60s in London, it's probably much more microaggression, not so much direct. You know, I've been told, I haven't been called a Paki for a long time, but I do get, just at the weekend I was crossing a zebra crossing, and a white van drove towards me, and I was halfway at the crossing, and the gang of young men in the minivan saw I was halfway across. They just stared at me and drove past. It might have been that, might have been anything, but it's the kind of feeling of how we're seen much more. So that's in general. At the university, I think, so as I feel really sheltered because I'm in the School of Social Sciences. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but I think people are much more aware of those kinds of discussions. Although just on Friday I did hear a student saying to someone, "What's BME stand for again?" So the kind of overt stuff or aggressive stuff or microaggressive stuff, but also just general lack of knowledge about it. But a Muslim woman who has a disability was racially abused outside our building and told to F off where she came from, that kind of stuff.
If we focus on the United Kingdom, there has been a strong immigration influx over the past 60 to 70 years in a number of different waves, and this has coloured the attitudes in different areas of UK society. I've experienced many facets. In some areas, there has been an embracing of the increased diversity. However, I know this can also be contrasted by strong rejection. There is no doubt that in recent years, with increased engagement in social media platforms, there is heightened awareness of issues surrounding race and ethnicity, but this is not always positive and in fact can be very negative.
An example would be after a terrorist incident, and remember terrorist incidents are only when Muslims commit them, not when white people do. I almost feel under pressure to justify and to explain we're not all like that, or to explain that Islam is a religion of peace, or that kind of thing. So again, it's just like that kind of pressure just to justify myself and to say, these aren't Muslims, they kill more Muslims than, etc., etc.
This afternoon, we're going to draw people doing different jobs. And the first job we're going to draw is a firefighter.
Have a think in your head what a firefighter looks like.
Oh, we're doing the firefighter.
What's your firefighter called?
Mine's called Firefighter Gary.
Firefighter Stan. Firefighter Simon.
He's big and strong.
He's got a big helmet on.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Next, we're going to draw a surgeon.
Have you thought of a name for your surgeon?
Jim Bob.
Jim Bob.
He's a brain surgeon.
I think he would wear a stethoscope. He gives you medicine.
That's his ambulance.
OK, next, we're going to draw a fighter pilot.
This is his jet plane.
He rescues people.
He likes to do stunts in the air and stuff.
OK, now, who would like to meet these people for real?
Yeah! Look, they're dressed up.
My name's Tamsin and I'm a surgeon in the NHS.
My name's Lauren and I'm a pilot in the Royal Air Force.
My name's Lucy. I'm a firefighter in the London Fire Brigade.
So who wants to know how to do an operation?
Who's putting it on?
I'm trying my stethoscope.
We put this in here. What does it look like? There you go. Now you're a proper fighter pilot.
So into your ears. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Mine's
It's much better, yeah, it's much better than the kids'
Mine's
one.
got him.
I would say that society is generally positive towards pregnancy and people are excited that a new baby is on the way.
I think child raising is still very much seen as a woman's role. Dads get sidelined a lot.
There are still mixed opinions in society in relation to gender reassignment. Attitudes are generally positive, with understanding about the importance of allowing people to dress and be how they wish to be. Those positive attitudes has built my confidence in being open about my transgender status and helps to build the freedom to allow me to be me. But there are still attitudes that view undergoing gender reassignment as laughable, as a trendy topic, or just wanting to be seen as special or different. Or worse, that undergoing gender reassignment is a mental illness. Those attitudes create fear and judgment that leads to the strain for myself and other trans people to feel safe and included in society.
Over the last few years, attitudes to disability have improved, but the journey is not yet complete. We have progressed from a viewpoint where exclusion and discrimination were the norm to more social acceptance. This doesn't mean that we have social inclusion yet, and often people still see the disability before the person. We are also seeing another positive change insofar as most people are gaining an awareness that not every disability is immediately visible or permanent. Through my direct personal experience, I've seen the effects of autistic spectrum disorder, epilepsy and depression. So like a lot of people, I often wonder if the wheelchair logo to signify disability is always appropriate.
I have noticed an increased awareness and understanding of disability within our society. This change appears to be supported by a growth of publicity on the topic. National and local campaigns have raised awareness of a number of disabilities. For example, Mental Health Awareness Week takes place in May and Dyslexia Awareness Week in October each year. There has been an increase in social media posts on disability and TV programs focusing on the lived experiences of people with a number of health conditions such as bipolar, obsessive-compulsive disorder, autism spectrum disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder, just to mention a few. On an international level, people have avidly watched and celebrated the successes of athletes in the Paralympic Games and more recently in the Invictus Games.